What's going on, guys? This is Joey Young coming at you with another video. Hope you guys are enjoying the new tank project that I'm doing with the Wabikusa. There will be a couple more videos out there to kind of finish that up. Yeah, if you guys haven't already seen it, make sure you guys go back. There's a bunch of like unboxing videos, and then of course the startup of the build. Today I kind of want to do like a quick tip for you guys. This topic for quick tips is what to do when you're going on vacation, and how to handle, I guess, the maintenance of your fish tank. So for me, I'm going to be going out of town for maybe just a couple days, 5 days. So for me, I really don't have to do much for my tank. So obviously, if you have good friends, neighbors, you can obviously ask them to go and take care of your tank, feed them, leave instructions. But to be honest, you don't really need another person because you can kind of automate half of this stuff. So I'm gonna kind of tell you guys what I do to prep my tanks. I have a discus tank, and I have a shrimp tank and a nano reef tank right now, and also the new tank, but there's no livestock in there, so I really just have 3 tanks. So what do I do? So right now the tank is already pretty automated already. Let me kind of give you guys a general setup of the tank. So everything's on timers pretty much. So if you guys have lights that go on and off, everything's on timers for me. My CO2 turns on through timer, my lights turn on through timer, and then I also have an automatic feeder on all of my tanks. The only tank I hand feed is my nano reef, just because I like to interact with those little guys. They're a little bit more responsive in terms of like feeding, and also I have to feed the corals kind of like through the suction and the pipette. So that tank is the only one I've been hand feeding, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw the automatic feeder onto that tank so that the tank can just do its thing. So for my freshwater tanks, I have those. It's on timer, so pretty much everything, it's fed twice a day at really small increments. And then when I come home like late at night, I may give them like a small treat, just to see, and double check to make sure there's nothing, wrong with the tank. And to be honest, I don't really have to even do anything in terms of feeding. I will probably have to refill the food maybe once every 3 weeks or so. That's when generally the automatic feeder runs out of food, and just refill it. So yeah, if you have that and just invest in it, it's super helpful down the road. It's way better than buying those blocks that automatically like release food or slowly into your tank. I've done those in the past, and I mean they're really cheap. They're like $2 for like 4 blocks or whatever, and they're supposed to last like 5 days, 3 days, a week, however long you need it to be. That works, but the thing is, I've noticed because it's like slowly releasing food into your tank, and it's a big block, it literally is, think of it as a dying fish in your tank. That block, it literally is an ammonia, like it's just releasing waste into your tank. In the past, when I drop those blocks in my tank, I would come home after like a vacation, like a 5-day, 3-day, even a 3-day, and I'll come home to my tank and I'll see it kind of cloudy. It looks just nastier because of like basically uneaten food that's sitting in your tank, and it's just rotting, right? And that's what those blocks are pretty much. It's just literally slowly releasing food into the water, or into the tank, so that fish can eat it throughout the time. So those, no good. Get the automatic feeder. It's like, I think like 20 to 30 bucks. You can probably buy it used for like half the price. Super cheap. I use Eheim, and I think that was like 30 bucks or something like that, or less, or 25 actually. And it's worth it. It's great. Especially when you have vacations. Do that. So all my tanks, timer, automatic feeder. That's all you need to take care of your tank. Everything else will take care of itself. The fish, they don't really need to eat for like a couple of days, and if you're barely feeding them like once a day, they'll survive. I have gone 10 days on vacation, left my discus tank with the automatic feeder, and they lived, every one of them. The only drawback to that is water evaporation, so you have to take into account for that. When you're gone, make sure all your tanks are topped off, and maybe even invest in like an auto top off if you're going to be there for a while. So when I left 10 days, it pretty took, it took about like maybe 15-20% of my water in terms of all my tanks. They were pretty much gone. So evaporation, obviously you have to replenish that somehow. If you're only leaving a couple of days, just top off your tank and you should be fine. If you're leaving longer, I always like to do a big water change before, the day of, the day of you're leaving or the day before you're leaving. That way it's just fresh water, clean, and everything's good to go. Since I'm only leaving 5 days, not a big deal. I'm feeding very little. Boom, we're good. For the reef tank, the only thing I'm doing differently in the reef tank is I turned off my skimmer on the reef tank. The reason why is, if you guys know how the skimmer works, is it basically skims, debris, and it drops it into this other like container. The container I have with that is about like a liter, and I have to dump that out every week, so it basically gets full. Basically, I don't want the skimmer to basically continue to dump stuff in there, and then eventually the water will overflow out of that container onto the floor or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and take precaution and just turn off the skimmer for like 5 days, whatever. It's fine. They'll live. So I'm gonna turn it off, and that's it. That's the only thing that's different with the reef tank that I'm doing is turn off the skimmer, just because my container is smaller. Like I can probably just find a bigger container and that can hold bigger water, but I'm just really lazy. I just unplug. It's easy. So yeah, those are just quick tips for you guys. If you guys are going on vacation, timer for your lights, CO2, anything controlling, automatic feeder, big water changes if you're going to be gone for a while. Make sure you top off your tank, and that's it. You're gonna be good to go. So I hope you guys learned something, enjoyed it. Please make sure you like, sub, and subscribe. Peace, guys.